I am happy to inform you that we are in the conclusion of Freebird. Now, you haven't seen a whole lot here recently, mainly because all I've been doing was paint, body work, stripes, pinstriping, you know, little fine details, some interior work. I actually replaced the window motors, and I accidentally put the door panel on before I showed you the thing, but I'm going to show you on the other side just in case. So I learned that these cars, the window motors, are a pain in the rear unless you do one certain thing. That certain thing is drill holes with a hole saw. Yeah, you heard me. So believe me, if you can't see it, there's a bolt right there, and there's a bolt right there. There's also a bolt somewhere in here. I could actually reach it by going back underneath the door. The other side I couldn't, so I actually drilled 3 holes in the other side, and that allowed me to pop off the old motor, which I would dig in that, but that's gross. Anyway, you pull out the old motor, and I stuffed an old t-shirt right in here to help hold up the window, as well as taped it right here because I didn't want to put tape on my fresh paint. That wasn't going to happen. And a half an hour we did both doors, both windows, and they work like great, so that's awesome. And the cool thing is, I'm pretty sure I only paid like 60 or 70 bucks for both window motors. I think I got them off Amazonian, maybe I got them off Evil Bay. Either way, I mean, that's a winning, dude. So that's one thing we learned. Another very, very, very valuable lesson that you want to learn on these guys, on the LS's, is run a pressure regulator. Okay, and check it. I had this thing set at like 5.5 or 6, and I looked and it was at 8. Yeah, it was about 8-ish. So I had to back it off, readjust it. I don't know. Thirdly, now this is specific to these cars, these Trans Am. If your car has the shaker and not the turbo may or may not have some stuff here you can cut to clear for the alternator for the factory bracket. But if not, you have that, and we made some fine adjustments there because we do not want to smother our 5-point tree. She's not going to be happy, you know, because that scoop fits way up in there. You also need to run a different breather. See how this one's oval? I can't remember the exact measurements, but you have to run something that is not round, because if you run a round one, it's going to be one of them little teeny tiny ones, and I like as much filtered air as I can get, which is why we went with the top and the sides filtered. That was a cheap Amazonian special. The fuel pump came from my buddy Webb. It's a Holly. It seems to be a really great pump. The tensioner and bracket here, I measured the belt, if you remember correctly, if you've been watching, at 91 inches, which is pretty much dead on. That would be with the belt not on it. Now, since then, I switched this pulley to a LS1 tensioner pulley, just the pulley part, because it is ribbed, it's no longer smooth. I was worried that that was what was making the belt kick. It may have contributed, but the main thing is this tensioner. This tensioner goes way up when you rev it. If you put a 91-inch belt on and you have this exact configuration, you're going to kick it. I promise you, you're going to kick it. Do not use this belt like I had said earlier. This thing worked good until it didn't. That guy, 60913. Do not use that belt. This is a, oh, there we go, even more gooder. 60905. Yeah, so that's a 90 and 13/16 belt. That's the part number from O'Reilly's. That thing worked absolutely wonderful. It's a 6 rib. It do what it do, and it is tight. No squeaks, no squawks, no popping, none of that crap. This thing is, that's dialed in. That's where you want it. I am absolutely sure that I'm probably going to have to up the CFMs on this. This is a 600 Edelbroken. Probably going to have to at least go to a 650. And since I want to keep it street happy, we're probably not going to go Holley. Probably not. I don't know. I am kind of partial to Holley anymore. I'm kind of digging their stuff. Whenever I was young, of course, we just ran rebuilt old Quadra junks, and it is what it is. This is another very, very, very important part, and probably why you see them for sale. Where the crap is, oh, I know where it's at. Why you see these MSD boxes for sale so often, cheap, because people aren't putting them in the right spot as far as the setting. Ask me how I know, for real. But that little slash there does not designate where you are at. Can you see that? Yeah, there we go. That little slot right there, it looks like it's pointing at LS1HO, sort of. It's not. There's a same collar as this darn thing, triangle, that tells you you're at custom 1. You're gonna need to be at custom 1 if you are running a carburetor, so on and so forth. Now, I'm not running a vacuum, as you saw. I'm not running that. This is a mass air kind of deal. You can run it off your intake. You can pick a vacuum port, it'll work just fine. And then you can use the cold start timing if you use also the coolant temp sensor, which I am not using either. This thing comes with a cord. Please hook it to your computer. You will see it says something about the coolant. I'm sorry. There's plenty of people that's done this. Just research it. I promise you, you're going to see it. It will absolutely pop up every single time. You're going to get popping through the carburetor. It won't start. It's going to have cold start problems. It's going to have, if you do get the start, it's going to be like the very first start of this, which apparently I was in truck HO mode or something. HD, HO, whatever it says down there. I was in the truck mode. It would start on that, and it would not restart because the temperature would read like, I don't know, -300 or some crap. You know how the old cars used to do. Let's see, what else? I do have a Holley intake on this. Very, very fond of it. I was actually going to keep it for my run motor, but you know, whatever. I mean, it looks pretty good just sitting there. Let's see, what else? Other than that, oh, car insurance. I usually would never dive into this, but I am absolutely going to because I just found out a lot. These cars, along with that guy, the 70 Chevelle and the 69, and a few others that we're fortunate enough to have, you can't afford to insure these things as regular car insurance. I promise you. If you can, good for you. I can't. It's just not. It's not doable. Not and drive them. My car insurance went from $400 every 6 months to $480 for this guy and the 66 for the year through Haggerty Insurance, West Banco, the bank. has Haggerty Insurance. That's who's going to insure that guy and that guy right there. Just saying. So that's a thing to keep in mind if you're around my area. West Banco, over in the old Geiger Brothers. I know this may sound Greek to some of you, but just saying, if nothing else, Haggerty, still call Haggerty and get some insurance. They're great. Another thing, this bird is not too badly priced. This is on, I think, the Amazonian website. You may be able to find it on eBay too. Freebird down here, we made on the wife's Cricket, along with the 5.3 TA. The pinstriping came from maybe, I'm thinking for some reason I ordered that off of the Amazonian site. And it took a little long to get here, but how often are people ordering red and blue striped pinstripe? Probably not that often, but nonetheless, it had to be done. These stickers also are available. So much available that we put them on the seats too. We dig it. I'm just saying. And then I found a guy that makes boat stickers on eBay. I sent him what size I needed, and he sent me freebird. You can't beat that, man. There's always ways to do stuff. Always. Whenever I originally was going to do this car, she was going to have a bluebird back on the hood. We was going to put it back to stock looking. I am glad that I didn't. My wife actually picked the pearl paint on it. I'm glad I listened. I blacked out all the chrome on it, everywhere. I'm glad that I did it. You know, I did all the pinstripe, like pretty much everywhere. My brother threw that one out there. Thank you, Brian. I'm glad I did it. If you guys and gals, whenever you're building your cars, think, you know, this might be pretty cool, just try it. You're not going to lose. If nothing else, you can peel it off and redo it. Don't act like you haven't redone something before. If you're a car guy or gal, you've done it before. I was able to save this sticker that was on the other windshield. I am so friggin' happy about that. I can't even tell you. Even though this club, I'm told, no longer exists, I still wanted to save that piece because I thought, man, that's part of the car's history. You know, and maybe somebody out there will see it and say, oh man, yeah, I was in that club. If you was, man, give me a shout. That'd be pretty cool. We painted the dash, of course, the metal part. We painted that Pontiac blue, and I'm glad I did because it does break it up. We also put a dash pad on. These dash pads are golden, pony boy. That right there just saved a heck of a lot of aggravation, a whole lot of money and time. We went with the Amazonian seat specials, and I love these seats. They are comfy, and they just hug you like, you know, that creepy uncle. Wait a minute, what? Anyway, they just hug you is what I'm trying to say. But the weather stripping, I am still very disappointed in because I had to go to O'Reilly's and get some of this foam. Why? Because I am not smoking brand new door panels that come from Restoration World, by the way, in Dayton. I'm not smoking those because the window doesn't meet right up to it. I had the problem on both sides. Just saying. I don't know. I adjusted the windows, the doors, everything to try to get it perfect. These cars was not perfect factory. I promise you, anybody that knows these cars knows they were not perfect factory. If you got the time and all that kind of jazz, good for you to make it perfect. Me, we got other fish to fry. I keep saying that, but it's true. So we're doing what we know works, and we're just adding extra insulation, and we're gonna send it. That's what I'm saying. So let's see. Oh, one last thing before I get off here. Some of you are probably wondering about the Jegs brand sheet metal. There it is. It fits really good. I was worried about it, and it does the trick. It does the trick really well. So much so, I bought Jegs brand sheet fenders for that guy. And I don't know if you know it or not, but I love 70 Chevelles. Love them. Almost as much as the 69 Camaros. But anyway, I digress, guys and gals. This has been a fun journey, but we are definitely ready to move on to the next one. The only things I got to say is a second gen Camaro and or Trans Am are probably one of the more expensive cars to restore. The parts are there, but not a whole lot of people saved them. Try to find one that's pretty solid. Restoration World in Dayton, I cannot thank you guys enough. You have saved my butt. They had floors in stock. They had a lot of stuff in stock. They actually had the windshield in stock. I'm just saying, they had it in stock, man, in like 2 different kinds, like the blue tint, which is what we went with the antenna and all that good jazz, and then maybe a clear one or something. But we wanted the blue tint, the antenna. We wanted stuff done the right way, and we got it. So anyway, I want to say thank you to the Webb family. We have been changing information back and forth. Hey, this works. Hey, that works. Because he did his wife's LS swap as I've done this whole build. So he helped me out with parts. He helped me with a wheel back there that I found out was bent. He has been absolutely wonderful. Him and his family, son, all of you. I appreciate you. And I appreciate every one of you for watching. If you see me out, give me a holler. I'll pull over. You can look at Freebird if you want. Check him out. We're going to be doing the rear end swap, gear swap, but not for a while because we have to get some other things in and out. You know what I mean? And yeah, and we just want to enjoy this guy for the summer. We don't necessarily need to, burn it up all the time, but I'm sure we'll have to head down to Mexico and try out these rear tires. Thanks as always for listening to me ramble. I love you guys and gals. We'll see you next time here on Right Toward Garage TV. Y'all have a great one.